Tonight, find out why officials canceled the WSU women's basketball game.
And hear the latest from President Donald Trump's remarks at CPAC.
And Democrats in Washington speak out against the Nunes memo with their own. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Jesse Maywald.
And I'm Brooke Wolford. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
We begin tonight with tragic news from the Washington State women's basketball team strength and conditioning coach. David Lang died on Saturday night due to a heart attack. Doug Taylor joins us live at Boulder Athletic Complex to share the impact Lang had on the athletic department. Doug?
Today at the Boulder Athletic Complex weight room, the weights stay on their racks in solemn tribute to WSU strength and conditioning coach David Lang. Lang died of a heart attack Saturday, leaving behind a wife and 5 children. Lang coordinated the training for women's basketball as well as men's and women's golf. So upon his death Saturday, and in consultation with the Pac-12 conference as well as the Stanford and WSU women's basketball programs, was decided that Sunday's game would be canceled, both in tribute to Lang and to give the WSU team an opportunity to mourn.
Doug, where does WSU basketball go from here in the midst of their grief?
The team won't have much time to gather themselves. The Pac-12 Women's Basketball Conference tournament starts Thursday at Key Arena in Seattle, with the 10th-seeded Cougars meeting the 7th-seeded USC Trojans. At Boulder Athletic Complex, Doug Taylor, Murrow News 8.
The FBI investigation on corruption in the NCAA could mean trouble for over 20 men's basketball programs. Schools who could face indictments include powers like Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, and Kansas, among others. The allegations may include cash advances, entertainment, and travel expenses paid for by schools. According to documents acquired by Yahoo Sports, 6 players received loans in excess of $10,000. As the FBI looks into college basketball, the Daily Evergreen published numbers surrounding WSU athletics and administrators. Some select WSU staff members, specifically coaches and administrators, make a 6- or 7-figure income, a massive difference in comparison to how much the average professor makes. WSU football coach Mike Leach, for example, earns $3.5 million a year, while the average professor earns just over $85,000. While football greatly benefits coaches like Mike Leach, it also benefits the community as a whole. Last football season marked the largest year-to-year quarterly economic growth in Pullman since 2015. The 5 back-to-back home games increased sales from hotel rooms, restaurants, food, and drink to nearly 20% from the third quarter of 2016, totaling over $20 million. Accommodations saw an increase of 26% in sales. Restaurants and the food industry saw a 14% rise, and retail sales jumped 11% from last year. Almost all of the taxing measures on last month's ballot passed with over 50% approval. The auditor's office counted the final 100 vote-by-mail ballots on Friday. Colfax School District's $19 million bond for school building upgrades passed with 73% approval. Pullman's Proposition 1 for a new city hall passed with 67% approval, and Proposition 2 for park and path improvements passed with 76% of the vote.
A House committee accepted a bill to abolish the death penalty in Washington. The most recent execution in the state killed Cal Coburn Brown by lethal injection in 2010 for an aggravated murder he committed in 1991. Governor Jay Inslee instituted a moratorium on the death penalty in 2014, and now the measure currently awaits a potential vote from the rest of the House. WSU is training dogs to help humans in their daily lives. Vanessa McMahon looked into the training of guide dogs for the Paws with Purpose campaign.
Third-year WSU veterinary student Amanda Amore became involved with Guide Dogs for the Blind 3 years ago after being introduced by a fellow vet student. She saw this as an opportunity to help people enrich their lives. After training dogs for 15 years, she wanted to get involved with training service dogs through the Guiding Paws of the Palouse program.
A lot of people can't leave their houses without their dogs, and to have a service dog or a guide dog specifically lets them join the community, get back into everything, and just lead a much more independent and safe life.
This is Fairview, a 10-month-old golden retriever puppy. He's a guide puppy in training, and he's been training for this since he was just 8 weeks old. And he still has about 6 to 8 more months of training here at WSU until he goes off to another state for formal harness training. Good boy.
So it's called Little Pup Big Future because he's kind of like just fresh off the truck and hopefully going to be a guide dog when he grows up. I think that's actually the driving force behind the puppy raisers, is that we're raising these dogs for someone else so they can help someone else live a safe life.
Amanda created this exhibit to showcase the lasting impact that service animals have on their owners' lives, and hopes that people will feel this through her photos.
When you see a service dog working, you know that all of that training went into them, but also you know the bond that's there.
You can check out the exhibit at the Animal Health Library, located in Wagner Hall, room 170. Vanessa McMahon, Murrow News 8.
Coming up, President Donald Trump doubles down on the guns in the classroom.
And Daryl Bivens has some welcome predictions for what to expect for the next week of weather. All of this coming to you in a moment.
Thank you.
You got a king?
Go fish! In your face! In your face!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
The Washington State House of Representatives passed a bill to ban trigger devices like bump stocks that allow semi-automatic rifles to fire more quickly. The bill passed Friday after lawmakers added an amendment allowing State Patrol to conduct a buyback program for people who already own them. This ban would make the sale and manufacturing of bump stocks illegal starting July 1st and owning or possessing a bump stock illegal in July of next year. President Donald Trump reiterated his belief that school teachers with the proper training should carry firearms. Friday, Trump also said the decision on whether or not to arm teachers should be decided by the states on an individual basis. Trump expressed that he thinks armed teachers would respond better to school shootings than security guards because they love their students.
We have to take steps to harden our schools so that they're less vulnerable to attack. This includes allowing well-trained and certified school personnel to carry concealed firearm. At some point, you need volume.
Trump believes if some of the teachers at Stoneman Douglas High School carried guns, they would have stopped the gunmen.
In response to President Trump calls to arm teachers, two leaders of the teachers' organizations in Spokane say they don't want guns. They want more funding for educational resources. The Spokane Education Association and the Central Valley Association, who represent about 4,500 teachers in the area, say nurturing and teaching children should take priority over police work.
After President Trump's most recent statements, his approval rating fell considerably, matching the lowest approval rating of his term. A CNN poll of over 1,000 adults found only 35% of respondents approve of the president's job performance. While that may be the case, 80% of Republicans still approve of President Trump, compared to just 5% of Democrats. The poll also found that 54% of respondents disapprove of President Trump's handling of gun policy.
In response to the Nunes memo, Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee released a redacted version of their response over the weekend. The memo calls Republican claims of the FBI using information gathered by the Clinton campaign to obtain warrants on former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page misleading. It also notes that the FBI opened the investigation into Page before it received a dossier rebutting primary claim of the Nunes memo. President Trump responded to the memo's release on Twitter, encouraging further investigation of those involved.
When we come back, Daryl shares weather updates and we'll see some more snow.
And a Spokane man achieves his goals to finally get into the U.S. Army. We'll have the details in a minute. Interesting, I wonder.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Well, it looks like despite the snowy weather, we are finally going to get a little bit of sunshine this morning. Daryl, how long do you think that's going to last?
Well, Brooke, if Father Winter came back last week, looks like we're getting Sunny Mother coming here pretty soon. So as you can see right behind me, here, we got some sun coming in. Now, still pretty cold, and we're not getting much more snow for a bit. But because of how cold it's going to be, especially throughout the week, we're probably going to see the snow stay here and turn ice pretty soon. But I don't know about you, I think the sun's a welcome change right now. And it's also pretty cool because we're going to get a lot of that coming in throughout most of Washington, especially when we talk about the east side here in a minute, where everything's looking a lot brighter as of late. I don't know about you all, but that's a pretty welcome change for me. Now, if we look more here to the east side, everything's looking a lot more sunny. It's still relatively, it's not too cold right now, but it's going to be getting freezing more in the evening, so we're going to bundle up and take care of that pretty soon. But it's looking pretty sunny in Sunnysville here in east side Washington. We get more to the west here. It's going right into tomorrow right here, but west is looking probably similar to east for a bit. But tomorrow it's going to be pretty cloudy for the majority of the day. And we're going to get right into the 5-day forecast here. Now, as you see, it's going to be pretty consistent until we get to Friday and Saturday, where it's going to be very snowy here pretty soon. But everything else is going to be between cloudy, and that's pretty much what it's going to be for this 5-day forecast. Guys, what do you all think about this?
Oh, I'm excited that we got a little bit of sun today, at least, you know.
Yeah, taking my motorcycle out's been pretty dangerous with the ice, but I'm looking forward to some better weather. Thanks, Daryl. When we return.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
A man from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho makes dreams of enlisting the U.S. Army a reality after being detained for his weight. Weighing in at 335 pounds, the Army told Joe Menandro he could join only if he lost some weight. Taking it as a challenge, Menandro lost over 102 pounds and enlisted in the Army as he always hoped. Thank you for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 p.m. for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
And